I never thought the company I gave 12 years of my life to would crumble the moment I walked out the door. But here's the thing. If you've ever felt invisible, undervalued, or replaced by someone who barely knows how to turn on their computer, then stick with me until the end. This is my story, and by the time you hear how one resignation triggered a chain reaction that brought an entire empire to its knees, I hope you'll feel seen, fired up, and ready to hit that like button if this hits home. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications, because stories like this, raw, real, and packed with lessons, are what we do every week. My name is Alex Rivera. 12 years ago, I joined Tech Forge as a wide-eyed junior developer fresh out of college. The company was smaller then, scrappy and full of dreamers. I poured everything into it. Late nights, weekends, missed family dinners, you name it. Over time, I climbed the ranks, not because I played politics, but because I actually cared. My crowning achievement was Project Phoenix, a revolutionary AI-driven logistics platform that could save Fortune 500 companies millions in supply chain costs. I led the team through 3 brutal years of development, blood, sweat, and more coffee than any human should consume. Investors loved the prototypes. Clients were lining up. It wasn't just code to me. It was my legacy, the thing I would show my kids one day and say, "Your dad built that." Then came Marcus Hale, the new CEO. He arrived like a storm in a tailored suit, poached from some flashy Silicon Valley startup that had crashed and burned 6 months later. Board members whispered he was a visionary disruptor. To me, he was a walking red flag. In his first all-hands meeting, he talked about fresh blood and streamlining legacy thinking. My stomach dropped when he mentioned Project Phoenix by name. "We're reimagining this," he said with a smug smile, "giving it to someone with new eyes." That someone, Jordan, a 22-year-old intern who had been with us for all of 3 weeks. Jordan's biggest contribution so far had been fetching coffee and struggling with basic pull requests. I sat there in that conference room, heart hammering, while colleagues shot me sympathetic glances. Sarah, my closest teammate and friend of 8 years, squeezed my hand under the table. "This can't be real," she whispered. But it was. Later that afternoon, Marcus called me into his glass-walled office. "Alex, you've done great work, but we need agility. Jordan has fresh ideas from university. You can advise if needed." Advise? I had architected the entire system. I knew every line of code, every potential pitfall, every client requirement. My hands shook as I left his office. That night, I drove home in silence, replaying the conversation. My wife, Elena, met me at the door with our 2 kids. Little Mia hugged my leg and asked why Daddy looked sad. I forced a smile, but inside, something cracked. The weeks that followed were a masterclass in slow humiliation. Jordan fumbled through meetings, suggesting features that duplicated work we'd already scrapped 2 years earlier. Bugs piled up, deadlines slipped. I tried to help, quietly offering guidance in code reviews, but Marcus shut it down. "Let the kid learn," he barked in one stand-up. My team started coming to me in private, frustrated and scared. "Alex, this project is going to tank," said Raj, our senior engineer. "Clients are already asking questions." I documented everything. I scheduled a meeting with Marcus and the board, prepared a detailed report on risks, timelines, and my 12 years of institutional knowledge. I even offered to co-lead with Jordan to ensure success. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. "Alex, you're stuck in the past. This is why we need new leadership. Step aside gracefully." That was the moment the fire turned to ice in my chest. I went home that evening and sat on the porch with Elena long after the kids were in bed. Tears came, angry, exhausted tears. "I built this company's future," I said, voice breaking. "And they're throwing it away." Elena held me tight. "Then don't let them take your dignity too. You know your worth, Alex. We'll figure it out." Her words lit a spark. That weekend, I updated my resume. I reached out to old contacts. But I still hoped, foolishly, that the company would wake up. They didn't. 3 days later, Marcus publicly reassigned me to a minor maintenance ticket while Jordan presented my vision, badly, to a room full of executives. The embarrassment burned. Colleagues who once respected me now avoided eye contact, afraid of association. The final straw came during a late-night debugging session. Jordan had introduced a critical security flaw that could expose client data. When I flagged it, Marcus accused me of undermining the new direction. I looked around the empty office, at the walls lined with awards my team had won, and I knew. It was time. I drafted my resignation letter that night. It wasn't angry. It was professional, factual, and it laid out every concern I had about Project Phoenix and the direction of the company. I copied key board members. The next morning, I walked into Marcus's office, handed it over, and said, "Good luck. You're going to need it." He smirked. "Plenty of talent out there, Alex. Don't let the door hit you." I cleaned out my desk quietly. Sarah hugged me, tears in her eyes. "You were the heart of this place," she said. As I walked out to the parking lot for the last time, I didn't look back. My phone buzzed with messages from teammates, some supportive, some scared for their own jobs. I drove away feeling lighter than I had in months. The first few weeks were tough. Sleepless nights wondering if I had made a mistake. Job hunting while helping with school drop-offs. Elena and I tightened the budget. But opportunities came. Within a month, I landed interviews with companies that actually valued experience. One even offered me a lead role on a similar project, doubling my previous salary. I started consulting on the side, helping smaller firms avoid the very mistakes TechForge was making. Life began to feel possible again. Meanwhile, at TechForge, things unraveled faster than anyone expected. Project Phoenix, under Jordan's lead with Marcus's vision, missed its first major deadline by 2 months. Clients pulled out, big ones. Revenue forecasts tanked. Internal morale collapsed as more senior people quietly left. Sarah texted me updates. "It's chaos. No one knows the architecture like you did." Bugs turned into outages. One major partner sued over data vulnerabilities, the exact flaw I had warned about. Investors started asking questions. Marcus doubled down, bringing in more inexperienced hires and cutting costs in all the wrong places. 6 months after my resignation, the board forced Marcus out. But the damage was done. Project Phoenix was scrapped entirely. Key talent fled. TechForge, once a rising star valued at nearly $1 billion, saw its stock plummet. Layoffs hit in waves. The company that had dismissed me as obsolete was now fighting for survival, rebranding desperately and losing market share to competitors who hired the very people who left after me. I watched from afar, not with glee, but with a heavy heart. So many good people caught in the crossfire. Today, I led innovation at a forward-thinking firm where my ideas are heard and my team is empowered. Elena and I bought our dream home. The kids see their dad excited about work again. And Project Phoenix. The core concepts live on in my new company's flagship product, now generating real results for clients who appreciate expertise. I've mentored dozens of young professionals, including interns who remind me of my younger self. I tell them, never let anyone make you doubt your worth. If there's one message I want you to take away, it's this: your value isn't defined by a title, a paycheck, or a corner office. It's in the knowledge, passion, and integrity you bring every single day. Don't wait for toxic leadership to break you. Know when to walk away. The right doors open when you close the wrong ones. Your skills, your story, they matter. And sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is to stop carrying a company that refuses to carry you. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever been overlooked, undervalued, or forced to choose yourself, smash that like button. It helps more people hear messages like this. Subscribe for more real-life stories of resilience, comeback, and quiet strength. Drop your own experiences in the comments. I read every single one. You're not alone in this. Let's build each other up. Thanks for watching until the end. I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong.